Alright, we should be live. Microphone looks good. Alright, so I was gonna start like 10 minutes ago when I got that, you know, cough in my throat that I couldn't clear out. So, fortunately, it started before I started streaming, so I was able to, take 10 minutes, let it clear up a bit. So, hopefully, we're doing better now. We're working on Bilbo again today. And last we left off, we had done Streets of New Capenna. Here, real quick, because right, Streets is not one of the things we need. Capenna, yeah, we actually need the commander. Commander up to here. All right, so at the very end, I was looking at the cards from New Capenna and trying to decide if we wanted any of them, and I had to go, so I wasn't giving them their proper time. So after thinking about it a bit more, I did add Smuggler's Share. We have cards that benefit us from artifacts coming into play and going to the graveyard and card draw. And we kind of punish the opponents for doing those things too. So I figured it was probably a decent card to add in. Like, it's one of those cards that people got really excited for because it's a white card that gives you card draw and treasure to punish opponents for doing the things that commander players love to do anyway. So, with that in mind, I added it in. The other cards that I was looking at included the 4/6 that at the beginning of your end step, everybody has to sacrifice a non-token creature or take 4 damage. Because we don't care about the 4 damage at all, I was considering that one. But ultimately, I decided against it because if we're not pressuring the opponents, because our goal is not to win by attacking them, then this card probably does nothing. Like, they probably still want to kill us through damage, and we probably still don't care about them taking the damage. So if they're gaining enough life that they don't need to sacrifice something, it's not really doing anything. And there's like 1 or 2 other cards that I've been looking at, but ultimately decided against for similar reasons. They just weren't what the deck really cared about. So that's where I wound up with those two. So we're ready to go into Strixhaven next. Because fun enemy color components and the black-green life gain sub-theme in Witherbloom. So could not remember the Golgari name on this plane. Okay, we don't have a ton of stuff to do with all this extra mana, but I did add a mana sink the other day from Shadowmoor, and we do currently have Exsanguinate on the list, so I guess Accomplished Alchemist is not a bad consideration. Accomplished. 2 C's or 2 M's? 2 C's. Accomplished Alchemist. It's 3 and a green. Was it an elf druid? 5. Okay. So yeah, we would generate a ton of mana from that thing just by existing. The top 6 cards, you may reveal a creature card from among them, put in your hand, put the rest on the bottom, and gain 3 life. No, thank you. Pay 10 life, untap your lands once per turn. And each upkeep you get a 1/1 that has death trigger. Alright, now that I'm actually considering token making as one of our main ways to gain life by triggering all of the I have a creature things that would care about that, coming into play. doing things, dying. Having a creature that makes a token every upkeep that also has its own death trigger. And if we ever needed to do something big in a turn, we can pay 10 life, because that would not be a huge deal. Yeah, alright. She's in. The Bellatrix Witherbloom is 5 green black. Raid. Are they Elder Dragons? I forget now. Yes, they are. Okay. That popped into my head. It's like they probably are if I think that they might be. Because that's one of those things, as a callback to the original ones from Legends, that are why, if you've ever heard Commander called EDH, the E and D stand for Elder and Dragon, respectively. The H is for Highlander, which is a reference to a movie franchise, which is why that is not the name, because obliquely referencing it, where the only reason that you would be referencing, like, the only reason to call it Highlander, so the whole thing with Highlander is a bunch of immortals that can only die by being decapitated, and they're in competition with each other to be the last remaining one. They get, like, some weird, vaguely defined power boost every time they kill one of their own kind. So the goal is for there to be only one, and that's the tagline. So there can be only one is why old school Magic, because it's a bunch of nerds playing a card game, wanted to reference another nerdy subculture, and the idea of only being able to have one of any given card in your deck became, what's the word I'm looking for, where it's unofficially referred to, not colloquially, but anyway, it became known as a Highlander style thing. Now, Wizards is Hasbro is an international company, and they can't make a reference to something like that in that way that evokes the thing that they don't have any commercial rights to. So they had to come up with a different name for Elder Dragon Highlander at that point, so they could market it, and they came up with Commander. Because it had to be either more generic or more very specific to them. So they went with Commander, and that's where that comes from. But yeah, every once in a while they will make a group of dragons, and they will be considered Elder Dragons, which has a specific connotation in Magic. I believe Elder in this one means primal, of something that was there at the dawn of the creation of any given plane. So the Elder Dragons from Legends, from this set, and from Tarkir are all there, all have the Elder type, but so do the Titans from Theros. So Kroxa and Uro both have the Elder distinction for the same reason, implying that they are like the primal things of their plane. Alright, so we're looking at the backside of Blex from this, because for some reason the arts are flipped. So he does, you gain 4 life, that's kind of whatever. Look at the top 5 cards of your library, put any number of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. You lose 3 life for each card put in your hand this way. So we can pay 15 life and draw 5 cards. Is that better or worse than any of the other draw cards by paying life? Like, we could just run something like Necrologia. We already have Necropotence on the list. Yeah, we probably don't need Blex. Okay. I just wanted to actually look at the full thing and consider him. If X is 6 or more, destroy all non-creature, non-land permanents. Yeah, I think I like my other things too much to run Blot Out the Sky. I don't want to have to cast it for only 5. If we could make more, just because I don't want to blow up like our fun enchantments that are gaining life and whatnot. Blood Mage is okay as a one-shot effect, but I think we can do better. I think we'd rather have repeatable on any of those things. Non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less, add black or green for each one. No. Don't need the Titan. Each opponent discards a card, you draw a card, and you gain 2 life. No. I don't think we need Deadly Vanity. We don't need Dina. We really don't want any of those type of effects, especially since I'm trying to run Exquisite Blood, I believe it is. The one where you gain life when the opponents lose life. No to Dramatic Finale. Logical Appreciation. Ambrose. Urgent Sequence, no. Sciences, no. Can't run Extus because his backside is red. Destroy target artifact, enchantment, or planeswalker. No. Go blank. Harness Infinity. Oh wait, I glossed over the troll, which increases our life gain, right? Yeah, if you would gain life gain that much +1. Yeah, let's take the honor troll. I was about to gloss over him to read the thing below him, and that would have been terrible, because the 2/3 troll druid? Okay. Yeah, I was not going to remember that he was a druid. 2/3. But he's effectively a 3-mana 4/4 vigilance. You know, and when we gain life, we gain extra life, which is the real reason we're running him. This creature dies, return to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control, and gain 2 life. Yeah, there's a lot of random gain a couple life here and there cards from Witherbloom, but we really want the ones that either keep gaining me life or actually pay us off for the life that we're gaining. I don't think we need Killian for anything. Like, he makes a couple of our removal spells cheaper. That's about it. Leech Fanatic, no. Whenever you gain life, pay 1, put a 1/1. Yeah. Again, another payoff that's killing our opponents, and that's not what we're here for. So, caster copies an instant or sorcery, they lose 1 life. No. No to Mavinda. Mortality Spear, probably. 2 mana, destroy a permanent. Non-land permanent. Mortality Spear. 2 black, instant. It might not make it because it doesn't exile, and I'm more interested in exiling effects, but it is a catch-all removal spell that's going to cost 2 mana in our deck, so if anything, I will play it over Assassin's Trophy, since we don't have the drawback of them getting a thing. Yeah, tap gain of life isn't doing anything. If we pass on the 1 white 1/1s that can do that, then we're not going to play the 2 mana 0/4 wall that does it. Test summoning. Discard a card. Opponent mills cards equal amount of life you gain this turn. Exile 4 cards from a single graveyard. Draw a card. Like, they're all okay. The backside is return up to 2 target creature, land, and or planeswalker cards from your graveyard to your hand. Each player gains 4 life, and then you exile this card. Yeah, they're both kind of whatever. The Forbidden. Poet's Quill. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. That is gaining me life every time I do a thing. It's gonna matter how many instants and sorceries we have, but we'll have to see where we're at with those. So she is 4, black, planeswalker. She starts off on 5? Yeah. Alright, Lily. See where we're at with our instant and sorcery count. Rise of Extus, Crushed Rebirth, Sedgemoor Witch. Well, if Lily's correct, Sedgemoor Witch will probably be correct too. If she's not, then we'll be able to cut both of them together. Doing a black for a human warlock? 3-2. Okay. Human warlock 3-2. Alright. So any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers you control beginning of the next end step, return them to the battlefield under their owner's control. Each of them enters with an additional 1/1 counter if it's a creature, an additional loyalty counter if it's a planeswalker. We already have the other thing, so we don't necessarily need this. Flying Double Strike. Beginning of combat on your turn, you may choose to. Each mode must target a different player. So somebody gets a 2/1 flyer, somebody draws a card and loses a life, and or somebody puts 1/1 counters on each creature they control. So most likely I would be drawing and losing life and giving the opponents a 2/1 because we have so many things that punish them for getting creatures, attacking with creatures, losing creatures. That might actually be worth it. Alright, I will consider Shadrax. Silver. It's 5 mana for 2/5 Elder. 3 black, white, Elder, Dragon, 2/5 because he's double striking. Okay. Excuse me. Alright, Shine Shadow, Show of Confidence new. Go to the command. Yes, they lose 3 life and you draw a card. That would be interesting if I could keep making them have to play their commander over and over again. But that seems like a bit too high variance when I'm already not overly concerned with killing our opponents, and therefore would only be targeting the commander if they're a major problem. And then I'd rather have them not be able to be cast until a certain card leaves play. Orator, Umbral Juke, Willing Ingredient. Alright, so I passed on Lizette. Valentine, on the other hand, is Menace Lifelink. If a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, I exile it instead, and then I can pay 2 to make a Pest. Is that anything? Probably not. Vanishing Verse is fine, but not needed. Another one, I cast or copy an instant or sorcery, we drain the opponents for 1. I really genuinely don't know if we're going to have enough instants and sorceries in this deck to justify running these cards. The 2 life drain And the making a 1/1 to trigger all of our other life gain seems better than either the Witherbloom Apprentice or the Pledge Mage here. I think we can pass on both of them. Like, the Apprentice is just a weaker Lily at a more reasonable price, but I don't think we're hurting for 2 mana 2/2s in this deck. And at 5 mana, the Pledge Mage is not where we want to be at. The instants and sorceries we're running are cheap removal and interaction, so there's less desire for that sort of thing, where we have to wait until we get to 5 mana for it to pay us off for doing something we were going to do anyway. Okay, on to Stronghold. Illicit, Cannibalize, Instant Mists. Whenever you cast a spell, you gain 1 life. Okay. Very straightforward. Just, do anything, gain a life. Hey, Conviction, no. Corrupted Licid, no. No. Don't think we need Ensnaring Bridge for anything. Hermit Druid, no. Hidden Retreat, free Jinxed Ring. From Nine Peel. Whatever creatures put in your graveyard, put on top of your library. Nope. Mulch. Primal Rage. Provoke. Pursuit of Knowledge. For spell ability opponent controls causes a land to be put into your graveyard from the battlefield. You put that land back into play. Think so. Scapegoat. No. Next one, damage dealt to Shaman and Core. This turn is dealt to target creature you control instead. Next time a source of your choice would deal damage to target creature this turn, that damage is dealt to Shaman and Core. No. Spike Feeder. Aside from the infinite life gain with Exalted Angel, I don't think we would want Spike Feeder for anything. I don't think we need to actually gain infinite life, although we could. Running enough slivers, or any really. 2, tap an untapped creature you control, gain 2 life only as a sorcery. Nope. Wall of Essence to block Eldrazi Titans that are coming at me. Although I think if we're being attacked by Eldrazi Titans, we've got way worse problems than how much damage we were about to take. Especially in this deck. Hey. That was Stronghold. I believe we're on Tempest now. Roll up a little bit. Yep. Order. Abandon Hope. Advanced Scout. Altar of Dementia. Lauren. Point. Of Wrath. Bottle Gnomes. Joke version. Heaven, no. Corpse Dance. The Embrace. Gothy Creatures. Death Pits of Wrath. So most of my creatures are little guys. They would still need to be able to get into combat with the thing I'm trying to destroy, but that is possible. And that being said, I don't think it's worth a card when I already have No Mercy and Dread on the list. Tap target basic land. I think we need that. Earthcraft isn't banned in Commander, right? It's banned in Legacy. Okay. I knew it was on ban list because of its interactions with certain cards, but I couldn't remember if Commander was one of them. Extinction. Fevered Convulsions. Fool's Tome, no. Still no. All artifacts have Shroud. Nope. If it just made everything a 1/1 and didn't take away abilities, I would actually be interested in Humility. Stallions. Excuse me. Black creatures can't attack or block. No. No, I might want to be able to block with my pest tokens and a few other things. Guile, Mongol Pack, Mounted Archers. Ooh. Whenever one or more creatures attack you, you gain 1 life for each attacking creature. That's cheaper than, like, the Noble Cause or whatever it is, but then we have to be attacked, whereas the other one doesn't care who's attacking or why. We just gain life. So I think if I'm going to bother running one of those cards, it would be the one that has the better effect, not the one that's cheaper and only works when I'm the one being attacked. Roll past anything. Did I? Perish, no. Hulk. Slicer, no. I don't think we care about original Rampant Growth. Think? Alright, it's originally from Mirage anyway. So even if we did, we would have to go back and add it there. Don't think we need Reanimate. Respite. Think so. Root Maze, no. Sacred Guide. Safeguard. Archimancy. Selena. Altari Monk, Altari Priest. Soul Drinker, no. Don't need Spirit Mirror. Talking Stones. Launch Defender, no. Cruise, Torture Chamber. Yeah, we probably don't need Verdant Force. I'd rather have Witherbloom. Whenever an opponent casts a red spell, you gain 2 life. No. Yeah, there might be some hate cards that are worth considering, but like that actually gain us life. But so far, none of them have been so impressive that it's just like, yeah, no, I should run that in case somebody, like anybody, is one of these colors. Then we get to do the thing. Alright, on to Brothers War then. Oh, I said on to Brothers War then. Come on. No, no. Go to the chaplain. That. Power Stone. Buff creature. No. Creates X11s that are also lands. Do I actually need Awaken the Woods? We would get a whole bunch of creatures, which would gain us a bunch of life, and then we would have that much more mana to work with. I still don't think I necessarily need it, though. Like, I'd rather have Crescendo. If I had to choose between this and Crescendo, I would rather run Crescendo, for example, to give my creatures indestructible, rather than having all the extra mana afterwards. And we're not going to have room for a lot of these type of effects. Like, maybe if I want another X spell and want to cut Exsanguinate, I'll come back for Awaken the Woods, but Blast Zone. We don't need the Boulder Branch Golem. Calamity's Wake. Leveler. Play Champion just buffs a whole bunch of things. Revenant. Fat Thresher. Deals 3 damage to target tapped creature and you gain 2 life. Tent. Search your library for up to 3 artifact cards and put them in your graveyard. No. Dredging Claws. Urgency Weld. Epic Confrontation. Each player controls an artifact or enchantment, creates a 2/2 bear, and then destroy all artifacts and enchantments. Nope. Opponent gains control of that permanent. Nope. I forgot that card. Then again, I keep forgetting this set exists. So. Except for you, Gix, but you're kind of in your own separate little bubble where you just live and exist and are amazing, and I'm so grateful you finally got a card. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. When it dies, return another creature with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Alright, so it gives me life if I've drawn my second card, and dies to get back one of my little creatures. Yeah, I could see that. Okay, so we need Brothers War. This thing is Gixian Puppeteer, right? Yeah. Gixian Puppet. This is 3 and a black for a Phyrexian Warlock. Phyrexian Warlock. 4/3. Okay. Let's see. Caress. No. And. No, I don't think so. Pallbearer, no. Vermin, no. Prospector. With some realization. Winter. Exile target non-creature artifact or non-creature enchantment, and when it dies, I gain 2 life. The fact that it can't hit artifact creatures or enchantment creatures is a little bit not great, but it does exile the problematic non-creature versions of them. For only 2 mana total, and it gains me 2 life. Alright, there's a slim chance it makes it. Haywire might. 1 artifact creature. Yeah. Putting Recluse, no. Hostile Negotiations. No. Trenches, no. Crusher. Create 2/2 colors construct. 1/1 counter on creature you control gains double strike. Plains card into hand. Gain 2, scry 2. Nope. Lay down arms because we won't have enough basic planes or even non-basic planes. We'll have enough planes cards most likely. Alright, Legions to Ashes. Yeah, stay mostly better decked in stone for an extra black mana. 2 ashes, 1 white, black, 3. Liberator, no. Ran. We won't have a ton of ways to gain life off the opponent drawing cards, but there are some in our deck, so we could gain life off of drawing our card and punish them for drawing an extra card. And it's a disenchant. I don't think we actually need all of that, though. Like, I should have more than enough exile-based artifact and enchantment removal. And we need another card going on in order for them to actually be punished for drawing the extra card. Otherwise, we're just giving a player at the table an extra card for us to get a card. Don't think we need Meticulous Excavation. Those because they're secretly red. Opponents can't cast spells or activate abilities. Whenever she attacks, create X 1/1 colorless soldier artifact creature tokens, where X is the number of soldiers you control. I don't think we make enough soldiers, so she would have to attack multiple times to get the ball rolling. So, I don't think so. Overwhelming Remorse, Painful Quandary, Perennial Behemoth. Don't think we need Flesh Gorger at all. Tune Dispenser is okay in our deck. Amazing, and we have other card draw, so we don't necessarily need it. Go to the battlefield. Creature enters this way, gets an additional counter. No. Copter, Recruitment Officer, Baron Recharge. Damage will be dealt to other attacking soldiers you control. No. Make an XX. No. Trample. Creates another 1/1. Draw a card and lose a life. Simian Simulacrum. Gain 1 life for each creature in your graveyard and exile the spider. It's okay. Not amazing. Whenever a non-basic land enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, you gain 1 life and protection from multicolored. Yes. I forgot that card existed. Again, not surprising. I keep forgetting this set happened. So... Oh no, Spectrum Sentinel, it is a soldier. Cholera Kaput. Hello. Not with this deck, because it's not built yet. I've certainly gotten over 100 life in Commander before, but yeah, not with this one yet. This is Sentinel. I have a tremendous amount of faith for it to get there, though. Just based on all of the things we are picking out for it. Static Net. No. Templar, Steel Seraph. Can't run Surge Engine. How many of our creatures are actually equal power and toughness? I don't think quite enough, and we already have Mentor of the Meek, Bygone Bishop. We probably wind up with Welcoming Vampire or something, too. I forget if Welcoming Vampire was on the list or not. I don't think we have a Coffin. Spider. Yes. The actual overarching goal with this deck, I'm trying not to actively kill our opponents is the only thing. So I have to be careful about which things I put in. Like, I've already got a bunch of cards that probably aren't going to make it because the creatures they're making are way too large, but... Yeah, I want to try to win the game through attrition and frustration, rather than actually actively trying to win a game of Magic. Because I've never built a commander deck where my goal was to just not die. And I've wanted to build this deck for a while, and then I didn't know what commander to put in charge of it, and then we got Bilbo, and I'm like, that seems like a good enough excuse to try this, so... he is white, black, green. Do we want... Titania. Front side of Titania, anyway. 1 or more land cards are put into your graveyard from anywhere, gain 2 life. We have Zoran Orb on the list, and we have Crucible and Ranyanamp to get lands back. If there are 4 more lands in your graveyard, yeah, probably don't. I don't have Veto because I have Exquisite Blood, and I don't want to accidentally trigger the Exquisite Blood combos where you just drain everybody because somebody took a single point of damage or you gained a single point of life. So, Veto and all of the similar worded cards are not currently on the list. Exile target player's graveyard. You gain 1 life for each card. Gets me 2 lands. Create 2 2/2 bear tokens. And put 2 1/1 counters on each creature you control. We have better graveyard hate, we have better ramp, we have better token makers, and I don't need to grow all my creatures. Almost, though. Like, any one of those modes is fine if it was, like, a little less mana. I might consider it, but... Yes, yeah, CEDH is a very, very competitive format. I've seen decks that lean towards that aren't actually all the way there, and they are. If you are not bringing your A game already to Commander, they are not fun to play against. Like, if you do not have a deck that normally makes average Commander decks abjectly miserable, it is not a good time because you get pulled apart very quickly. Yeah, I've seen things like turn two wins because your commander came into play and then another card happened that usually is like the commander is built around that card anyway, so it makes it very easy to tutor things, and two and three card win conditions that you assemble very quickly are very common. But then again, it's kind of like vintage where the worst case scenario makes the games look very uninteractive and ends the game quickly, and there will be games like that. But at the same time, you can't go off that easily every single game because there are three other players trying to stop you. So, and then they have their own combos that everybody has to worry about. But yeah, it's a. I've played against decks that are on the cusp of that, and they usually manage to beat even my best decks. So I don't break them out very often. I have like one list that I have put together, but I haven't grabbed the card. Like, I have the cards for it, but getting through all of the sets in order to put the deck together is becoming an issue. I've actually been working on that all year to try and make it easier for me to do that by converting all of my binders to 5,000 count boxes. But uh, I have a vague idea of what Yu-Gi-Oh looks like now. I have not played that since right before the XYZ monsters became a thing. Was the last time I really played Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, I've played most of the big card games over the years. Like, I started with Magic. I played Pokemon when it was big. I played Yu-Gi-Oh for like the first 4 or 5 years after it came out, whatever it was. Um, but after that, and then I played like a whole bunch of like other card games during that time too. I was big into the Score Dragon Ball Z card game and Decipher Star Wars and a few others that I played a little bit, but yeah, I'm actually just focusing on Magic anymore. It was my first one and the only one that's really. I mean, the other ones have endured, obviously. They are still around and still played, but Magic is the one I always came back to. Draw a card, gain life equal to number of cards in your hand. Nope. I don't need the Silex. Nope. No. And a 1/4 lifelink. Hey, so that was the Brothers' War. The Brothers' War Commander. And add this in. Get basic lands. If I scroll past the basic, okay, there it goes. Um, Starting with you, each player chooses up to 5 permanents they control. All permanents other than Disciple of Kalis Nin that weren't chosen this way phase out. Permanents can't phase in. All my lands are basic. Forest from the graveyard, make a 5/3. Elemental dies, I can mill 3 cards. Plus X based on forests, and attacks create a 1/1 forest creature. And prevent all damage that will be dealt to him. Oh, yeah, sorry, my bot is set up to not allow links. So I apologize for that. It gets very feisty whenever somebody tries to link anything. As long as you control an artifact creature, it prevents all damage that will be dealt to him. Exile the top 6 cards of your library, may cast a vehicle or artifact creature spell. Nope. There's a battlefield with a counter. Remove a counter from a permanent you control for a plains card. I think so. You lose X life, create X tapped power stones, then all creatures get -1/-1 for each artifact you have. Yeah, if I wanted that, I can just Toxic Deluge. Artifact creature card in your graveyard has Encore. No. Choose target player. You create a tap power stone for each non-land card in that player's graveyard that was put there from the battlefield this turn. +1/+1 and flying counters. Play cards you own, exile with the music box. Well, it is my favorite constructed format. So, and the power level is kind of all over the place because of that. Like, you can run into everything from just bought the deck and sat down to play to I've been working on this deck for 5 years and have finally tuned it into an abomination and everything in between. Which is one of my favorite parts about the format is since I have a whole bunch of decks built, I then get to play the deck that is most suited for the players that I'm playing against. So I try and go by the estimated power level of whatever commander they're picking and run something that I think will be competitive with it. And then see if I'm right or not. I don't think we care about the vet. Don't need the scavenge brawler. One or more artifacts you control die. Draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. And 3 tap, make a Thopter. Yeah, we can do better for token making. And we don't need the Crucible. Alright, back we go. I mean, it's similar to Commander. It's meant to be a Commander-like format for a thing that doesn't have access to the cards for Commander. Which is why they invented Brawl, so that they would be able to put it on Arena. And then they originally started off as a standard legal Commander style thing. And then people were like, but we really want to play with the cards that we have. And then they're like, okay, fine, so here's Historic Brawl, which has all the cards that are on Arena available. And obviously it's slightly different. Both the all planeswalkers can be your commander, and the differences in starting life total and the fact that it's normally played heads up. But it has enough of the same things going on that it plays very similarly to a heads up game of Commander a lot of the time. King Darian's the Cold Snap one. If you take damage, you make a 1/1. Right? Choose Flying or Indestructible. Gains the ability. Deal combat damage. Flip him over. Target opponent loses life equal to the amount of life that player lost this turn. Nope. Another creature or vehicle enters the battlefield under your control. 1/1 counter. Exile up to one other target tapped creature or vehicle. For as long as it remains exiled, its owner may play it. Gain life, you may transform it. When you do, return target artifact card with mana value less than or equal to the amount of life you gain this turn from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. One or more non-token artifacts you control are put into the graveyard from the battlefield. You flip them back over. Huh. Whenever you gain life, you can flip him over. When you do, return target artifact card with mana value less than or equal to the amount of life you've gained this turn. Maybe? Alright, so this falls into the other category, so pop down here. Oh, the King Darien, like the 54th or something? Okay. Is the other one also King Darien? Like, is he is he that king's ancestor or something? Now I'm, uh, now I'm wondering. Arien. Yeah, okay, so that was the one I was thinking of, and that is his descendant. Okay. Right, they have a long history of naming the king Darien. Alright, so this is Ratchet Field Medic. Field Medic. And Ratchet Rescue Racer. And 2 and a white. Art. Robot. 2. 1 and a white. Vehicle. 1/4. Okay. And Starscream is the one that gives out the monarchy, so we're not really interested in that. Alright, that's the Brothers' War, all said and done. Alright, so we're at the hour mark roughly, so let me just take a moment. Right back.